guide us and direct us, give us wisdom on all the decisions we make. Be with our police and fire protection. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Hancock County Commission to order this November 20th, 2014. I'm going to pass over the citizen presentation for right now because it's so good to have John Frankovich in our midst today. We want to keep him here for a while. And we'll go right to new business. County Commission, approval of internal budget revision for year 2014-2015. Karen.
It's just clean up everything. No change.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. For the record, let everyone know that Mr. Yuba just showed up. Okay.
Actually, I think that clock's a few minutes fast on
Okay.
Steve's behalf.
All right.
It's 27 after, actually. We apologize for that, Mr. Yuba.
I want to sully my reputation.
Number 2, approval of the resignation of Cindy Jones from Oakland PSD.
Move to approve and to advertise for the vacancy on the PSD board.
What's the parameters around the PSD board? They have to be a member of that district?
Correct.
So that takes in Wiley Ridge,
Hardin's Run area, Wiley Ridge, pretty much all that area out through there.
Tope Hill, all that place back up through that way? Yeah.
Tope Hill, the new area, yes.
Okay.
Will we advertise on the website, Bob?
On the website
Okay.
next week.
Makes no difference, Republican, Democrat, nothing like that, right? Okay. Have a motion on the floor, 1, to accept the resignation, 2, to advertise for a new position for there. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Comment? Is it too late for a comment? You didn't say that, so I
Usually
couldn't comment.
in our discussions when we do comments, but go ahead, Mike.
I just want to say that
Mr. Swartzman.
I just wanted to say that Cindy Jones has served on that board, I think, for over 20 years, and she will be sadly missed on that board. She did a good job, put a lot of time in, a lot of hard work and dedication, and she will be missed.
Yes, you will.
Thank you for those words. Number 3, approval of a one-time salary adjustment for employees of the Hancock County Courthouse.
Move to approve.
Discussion. That is a $500 for full-time, $250 for part-time.
Correct?
That's a salary adjustment. Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of general county bills, Karen.
The total is $51,018.54. The P card total is $44,256.98.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of fire allocation bills and requisitions.
They're okay.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of library levy fund bills and requisitions. Excuse me.
They're okay as well.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of sheltered workshop bills and requisitions.
They're okay.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Citizen presentation. Mr. Pat Ford with a BDC update with Mr. John Frankovich. It's always good to have Mr. Frankovich here.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, President. Oh, I have to go into the mic. Thanks, Commissioners. Thanks, President Greathouse.
Thank you, sir.
I'm here filling in for my grandfather, Bill Blesio. He's been able to come. In all seriousness, I'm very pleased on behalf of the Business Development Corporation Northern Panhandle to be able to present a check for $250,000, which represents the proceeds of the sale of the property of Memorial Field in Newell. the BDC has had some success, and we've had some pretty significant success lately. A lot of it has to do with the unbelievable work of Pat Ford and Marvin Six and what they've done. But probably just as important has been the commitment of our partners, and I can't think of a partner we have that's more committed than the Hancock County Commission. What you all have done in order to enable to really do development throughout the county, starting with TS&T down through Weirton, you really have, for lack of a better term, put your money where your mouth is, where a lot of times we run into local government state, they either cannot or will not, for political reasons, do that. You've stepped up. You guys, your support's been amazing, and you are the reason why these projects are happening. So we're really pleased to be able to present these funds back to you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Mr. Frankovich.
That's the real check.
Carrie, you want to take that right
Yeah,
now?
I'm gonna-
John, how soon will they start construction there?
Mr. Ford?
Yes, sir. All right, gentlemen, I prepared a handout for you. Steve, you got a copy of that?
Thank you.
And I'd like to just talk a little bit about this project. When you all made the decision to convey these three properties, at the time, I would argue that someone would probably just review or refer to that transaction as an economic development transaction. And that is that you're just basically acquiring an asset and it's being shifted over to the BDC, and people might not have had an idea exactly what would happen to it. And for the most part, in most communities in most states, that's economic development. But what you all have done, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about and jump off from where Mr. Frankovich touched on, what you have done is moved our county and our organization from an economic development organization to an economic growth organization. And there's a big difference. Economic development is just shifting money. Public money to nonprofit, nonprofit to public, and you don't really see any outcome. Economic growth is to be differentiated from economic development in that with economic growth, your investment then attracts private investment, and then that private investment attracts jobs. And what I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about not only what the investment into the Memorial Stadium has done and will do for this county, but then I'd also like to talk about collectively what the impact of your decision to move with the former Weirton Heights Fire Station and Memorial Stadium will do. So if you look at this first sheet, immediately when that property, the Memorial Stadium, was conveyed to us, that had an appraised price of $240,000. We actually sold that property for $250,000. And what I'd also like to unveil today is the $4 million investment. $4 million investment that's going to be occurring in Newell on this site. And what we have here is a master plan of what this site's going to look like. And Steve, did you want to take that?
Just while you're talking about
Okay. And so, gentlemen, if you want to, Mike, if you could just hand that to them, I'd like them to see that.
Thank you.
They're going to be breaking ground on January. If you've already noticed some activity, there's already activity occurring. They're already doing the soil boring, testing the foundation to see what type of footers and everything they're going to have to put into that facility.
Jeff.
From the proceeds of this deal, John did present to you a $250,000 check from the proceeds. By the time you add the $4 million investment that Chrysler's going to put into that site, the soft costs that the BDC had to incur of $20,000, you're looking at almost a $4.3 million investment on this site in Newell. Right now, PJ Latsko at Hancock County Chrysler, that is currently open in the former Hackett facility, they employ 12 people. When they open their new facility at this location next year, probably at the summer of next year, Mr. Greathouse, you asked that question. So we're probably looking at opening sometime mid to late summer. They're going to be hiring an additional 28 people. They'll have 40 people working at this site. And if you also look at, and this is where the real tail of the tape is, and this is where I feel like we're doing our jobs when we can put people to work and we can put food on the table for families in our area. The projected annual payroll at that site is going to be $1.1 million. So by the time you look at this investment of $200,000 when you acquired that facility, and you leveraged with that $200,000, $4.3 million of an investment and $1.1 million of annual payroll, that's economic growth. And what's also exciting about this, and this is part of the greater story, is not only is this investment in West Virginia, but we're also using West Virginia contractors. JD&E contractor out of Wheeling is going to be doing this job. We don't know who the bank to finance this is, but if you take a look at the second page, gentlemen, I want you to just think about just these last two transactions. Remember, for $500,000, we acquired those three properties, the two stadiums and the former Weirton Heights volunteer fire station. We've already transacted two of these properties now. The appraised price of both, where the Domino's Pizza is going to locate and Chrysler, is $351,000. That's what it appraised at when we acquired those two properties. The post-construction value of those two sites now will be almost $4.8 million. So just, 12 months ago, the appraised price of those two properties was $351,000. By the summer of next year, you're going to have an appraised property. You're going to have a post-construction value of almost $4.8 million. And the tail of the tape is right there that follows. The two checks that the BDC has presented to you all to pay down that $500,000 note is $365,000. The BDC's put in $65,000 of site improvements. There's going to be private investment of $4.3 million, and the BDC soft cost is $40,000, and that's where we come up with a $4,770,000 of investment into Hancock County, just from those two sites alone. Also, you look at the total jobs now, by making that action, commissioners, not only did you preserve 23 jobs in Hancock County, but you added 37 jobs, so you had a net impact or a gross impact of 60 jobs. And that annual payroll that you've been able to now add to our communities, almost $1.7 million in added payroll that you've added to Hancock County. And as with the other property, Domino's, that was actually financed by a West Virginia bank, and it's being constructed by a West Virginia contractor. So the temporary jobs are also being absorbed by West Virginia residents, West Virginia business, and that's where I really think that we're doing our job and carrying out our mission.
Questions, comments, gentlemen?
Comment. Mr. Ford, thank you for sharing this with us today. I wish that the commission could take all the credit here for this news, but we cannot. We have to thank you personally and the BDC, but especially you, because I can distinctly remember our conversation several years ago, and you told us Hancock County really cannot grow because we don't have the inventory for economic development. We don't have the inventory for economic growth. I distinctly remember you saying that to us. From that, we took that, and that's the reason why we invested in our own county. It was because of your words, your direction, your vision. You sort of threw us the ball, and we ran with it, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Pat, collectively we know what's happened in the last year with some hard work and risk taking, but I'm willing to do it again. And I think this commission with the BDC will have another project, if not two, within the next coming year. And had to do it all over again, I'd do it 10 more times. I think we did the right thing for the job creation and the economic development of building our tax base. So we're fortunate. We're very fortunate, and not just from the hard work, but for the people who believe in Hancock County and the residents to invest the kind of money that they're doing here. They obviously believe in our area, and we're fortunate that they do that. So thanks again for all you've done, John, the whole crew. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I'd also like to add, in light of that, I'd just like to use this as an opportunity to tell you what's happening on the landscape. If you all recall, Southwestern Energy announced that they purchased the assets of Chesapeake for about $4.4 billion, and they've committed drilling rigs into our area, this area, your area, in 2015, probably 3 to 4 rigs. No sooner than that announcement was made about 3 weeks ago, Marvin and I have been working literally 7 days a week around the clock. We've been hammered with prospects in the oil and gas industry, and from not only all over this country but all over the world. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago we had a company fly in from England. Just last week, someone flew in from China, and so you couple the announcement with your focus on creating inventory. It couldn't happen at a better time, because what we are still scrambling to do right now in Hancock County is trying to find homes for these businesses that range anywhere from sites from 5 acres to 250 acres. And so we want to, and Mr. Frankovich mentioned this, we want to continue to work with you to try to find some of these homes, but it's going to require inventory. And so anything that we can do together to try to find places for these people, we want to do it, because we've got a great window here and the timing is right for more opportunities to be right here in Hancock County.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Greathouse.
Mr. Greathouse, with the leave of the commission, could we take an opportunity? We have Chris Kearns with us from Mountaineer. Chris, you gave a little talk last night at the CVB meeting. Could you elaborate on some of the items that's taking place at Mountaineer? And some of the improvements that you've recently done?
Sure. I'm assuming you're talking about the $28 million we spent over the last 3 years that I brought up.
Yes.
For those that have been anywhere near the property in the last 3 years, I'm sure you've noticed the improvements. The casino is obviously built in multiple sections. We have remodeled most of those sections now. All the restaurants have been touched. We just finished remodeling the casino tower, so that's 256 rooms. At a price tag of about $3.5 million in the tower. We are about to start remodeling the remaining rooms in the older Holiday Inn building, what we call the Lodge, 101 rooms there. That'll be to the tune of about $1 million to redo those 100 rooms. Let's see what else. Improvements to the racetrack facility in both the grandstand and the clubhouse. Remodeled the buffet twice. We moved Big Al's to a great new location. Menu changes coming with our new partners with El Dorado. One of their specialties is foods. A lot of menu revamps in all the restaurants there. Resurfaced almost all the parking lots. New center bar opened about a year ago. We took out the old circular bar, put in a great new center bar there. It was about a $500,000 build for that bar. Amazing what a bar costs. A substantial amount of capital available next year. We have to do some upgrade projects to the casino floor. We are going to touch the last remaining section of the building, what we call the warehouse. It's the area where Lucky's is located and the OTB. So we're going to be touching that room, and that will really wrap up the remodel of the entire building over the last, at that point, it'll be a 4-year project to remodel the entire building.
You mentioned last night the number of employees you have, about 1,200 with an annual...
1,217 as of right now, with annual payroll of approximately $25 million.
Yeah. All right. Mountaineer is important to us.
Top employer and the top taxpayer in the county.
Right.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for the
Thank you.
update.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Council, anything to bring before the county commission today?
Nothing, Mr. Greathouse.
Miss Jackie, anything to bring today? Miss Tracy?
Yes, I just wanted to let the commission know that Glenn and I was asked to go to New Manchester Elementary School by their pro officer, Deputy Wade, and speak to the kids and do a 911 demonstration. And we did that yesterday. It was broke up into sections of the 3rd and 4th grade and then the 1st and 2nd grade. And tomorrow we'll be going out to do the kindergarten. So we were very pleased with how receptive the kids were and how knowledgeable, even at a young age, that they understand the 911. So I just wanted to give you a little update on that, and thank you for the adjustment.
Ms. Carroll?
Yes, our Back to School program starts up again next week at Oakland Middle. We're excited to be partnering with them again. Our office took part in the Read to Me project today at New Manchester. Shelley went out. She had a great time reading with the kids. Our new 4-H club decided to call themselves the Chester Foxes 4-H Club. That's the name that they chose. And they're going to be meeting now. And they are going to be having their first fundraiser. These kids are just jumping right in there. And Thursday, December the 18th at Foxes, and all the 10% of the proceeds that night will go to that club. So, I'm sorry, I said Chester Foxes again, I promise. And 10% of the proceeds are going to go to the new club. So I'm very excited to have that new club on board and getting up and starting so quickly.
Ms. Jackson?
I have none for today.
Ms. Lynn? Mr. Jones?
Motion, nothing to stack that.
Mr. Vitus?
Just to let you know, Stephanie and George and I today did bid openings for some of the old cars that we were trying to sell. We have 5 that are valid bids. We will be getting in contact with the bidders next week and getting those cars, the titles and keys to them, and accepting money for a little over $8,000 for those 5 vehicles.
Good.
How about the vehicles that you were not able to accept bids on?
There were 2 that were below the minimum of the bid, so they're really not valid. That leaves us, I believe, 11 vehicles now that we will probably sell for scrap.
Okay.
Mr. George?
Mr. Greerhouse, on behalf of my staff, thank you for the adjustment.
Welcome.
Appreciate it very much. That's all I have.
Ms. Lynn, did I see where your daughter was like honored just last week or something like that?
She played in the OVAC All-Star Volleyball Tournament in Steubenville, West Virginia, won. And she really enjoyed it. It was an honor and a pleasure for her to be nominated by the coaches in the OVAC to participate in it. She had a wonderful time.
She's pretty much a star. Right? That's good.
She played well.
Like her mom. Mr. Schwartzmiller?
I would just like to, again, I sang Mr. Ford's praises, but also I should have just really, it's the team that he's with, the whole BDC partnership, Mr. Frankovich, and there's, what, 20 or so members of that. So it's really their hard work, their dedication, their expertise that's really has guided us. And the whole situation today, as you were presenting, sort of reminded me of the story that we all know when we were growing up about this little boy who bought these magic beans, and he took some, and a lot of people rolled their eyes up in their head when Jack bought these magic beans, and we had it's the analogies here. Trust me, it's there. And some people rolled their eyes up at us when we purchased these. We spent $400,000 for these magic beans. But it was a pleasure to hear from Mr. Ford that $400,000 worth of beans that we purchased has almost gone to about $5 million. So, again, I thank you for that.
He truly is the smartest commissioner.
He said that last night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Magic Mike.
Just a side note, Mr. Foley, you have one of your employees off sick right now.
Yes.
Payroll.
It will be done. Ron Priest is coming up Monday, and
Okay.
payroll will be done Thursday.
Okay. Do you know if he'll have to come a second time? Do you have any idea when Michelle might be back?
The way it looks now, it's going to be some time.
Okay.
She's in today for her 3rd operation this week. So
Well, let's hope she gets along well.
Yeah.
Strictly looking at Mr. Priest, obviously we'll have a price tag with him coming up to do our payroll.
I think when he comes up and it does it with care, because she's been through it before, not on her own. That's what we have Ron coming in Monday. I think
Okay.
once she's with him, she'll be fine on her own.
Okay. So you believe we only need Mr. Priest one
I'm
time?
looking at one time.
Okay. Very good. I have nothing to come before the commission today other than the fact that Thanksgiving is next week, and obviously happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and that's it. We'll be back next month.
My favorite holiday. Go Mountaineers. I will accept a motion that we adjourn until December 4th, Mr. Smith. December 4th. Hearing that motion?
Can I check my calendar?
We're adjourned.
Let's make sure here we're good. December 4th? It's a good date.
We're adjourned. Okay.